Family, how are you doing? Hey, I was reading in my devotion and I wanted to share this nugget. I believe is very helpful, preferably to everyone that is going to be able to watch this or hear this or even share this with your friends. There was a context of scripture that God impressed on me to be able to read this morning, which was Matthew chapter 5, verses 6. And it says, "Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." And as I was reading that, there was a specific question that was posed unto me that I am going to really pose unto you. We understand the context that in this context, what Jesus is actually teaching his disciples and sharing some principles, some characteristic principles that they would need for what God has called them to be able to do as disciples, as followers of Jesus. It was something that he was sharing with them that they will need as a basic foundation, I believe, for their lives and for their walk and for what God has called them to do. And so in this is the same things that I believe that God has shared with us to be able to live by, to have these type of characteristics, to have this type of lifestyle and mindset so that we can become what God has called us to do and walk in what God has called us to walk in. And so in this context, he says, blessed again, blessed are happy as those people that hunger and thirst after righteousness. And then he ends and says, and those people that hunger and thirst after righteousness shall be filled. But what I love about how Jesus teaches things is he teaches things to let us see and understand that there is things that we can hunger and thirst after that is not righteousness, but we still won't be satisfied. I think about in reference to when, you kind of got a craving or you're hungry. And what you do is sometimes instead of eating a good meal, you might go and get you a snack or get you something, get you some, snack just to pass over the time. And what that does is that helps down the urge, but it does not satisfy the need. And so I believe in some essence sometimes that we can have hunger and we can have a thirst. We can have a craving for something other than righteousness. And in what this context of what Jesus was sharing even with me this morning and what God was talking to me about this morning is the question is, are you hungering and thirsting after righteousness? And the way that you know that you are hungering and thirsting after righteousness is you would truly be satisfied. And so the question again is, what are you hungering for? What are you driving after? What is your craving for? Is your craving for him? Is your craving to go after God? Is your craving for the things of God? Is your craving to live right before God? Is your craving the purity of life, the purity of thinking, and the purity of love? Is the craving for him? And if it is, then you will be satisfied. But if the craving is for other things, I'm telling you, you will only be taking care of the crave. You won't be taking care of the need. You will only be satisfying that one specific thing. You will die down what you will consider as the hunger and the thirst, but you will never actually be satisfied. So you will always be reaching for something, reaching after something. That's why you see people, and this is not a slight thing, because it's a good thing to be productive. It's a good thing to go after certain things and goals and desires. But it's a different thing that when you're going after them to be satisfied. And some people go after the money, go after the cars, go after the things, go after all of these things so that it can satisfy you, but it cannot satisfy you. So the only thing that it's doing is taking care of the desire, but it's not satisfying the need. So you always are grinding for something, trying to be satisfied, where God says in this context, blessed are them that have a craving, that have a strong desire for righteousness, that have a strong desire for him. And he says that if you have a strong desire for him, then you will be satisfied. You will be full. You will be filled. And so again, the question today, in examining even my own self, is what are you craving? What are you going after? And if you understand that if I'm not going after righteousness, that I won't be satisfied. The question to you today in your life throughout this day, examine, what are you craving? And I pray that you crave him. I pray today that you make a conscious decision that when I am hungry and when I'm thirsty, when I have a deep longing within me, that I'll make sure that he is my portion and my meal so that I can be able to be satisfied. God bless you. Have a blessed day.